What's going on, guys? I'm SimpleSimon, I'm your comic book noob, and the festive season is upon us. Is that what they say for Christmas? The festive season is upon us?
Yeah, it's festive because it's Christmas.
That's right. How about those Christmas trees at Big City Comics? Speaking of Big City Comics, I'm here at Big City Comics with my boy Mark. Say hi, Mark.
Hi, Mark.
In today's episode, we're going to be talking about comic book storylines and are they going downhill? I know for me, I'm not reading much from DC and Marvel these days, so that is the topic of discussion, and see how we go. Let's do this.
Oh. Want to do that again?
Thank you. Hi, Mark.
Hi. Hi, how you going?
Alright, so today we're talking about comic book storylines. Are they going downhill? Because I know definitely for me, a lot of people know that I just haven't been reading much. I'm slowly turning into Mad Spidey. But when I do read, I just stay clear of DC and Marvel these days. I'm still buying some of it, but I'm mostly leaning towards indie
It's
stuff.
not all bad. I mean, look, I wouldn't be a comic book shop owner if I said it was all bad. What sort of a guy, a businessman would I be?
Well, okay,
Get it all, it's all good!
Can we just go through just quickly, you being a shop owner, you seeing pre-orders and things, what can you just name, say, 4 or 5 titles off the top of your head that actually are popular? I'm gonna guess Batman is popular.
Absolutely, Batman, Spider-Man.
Yep.
Probably Batman's a little bit more popular.
And those titles are always going to be popular regardless if they're good or not, right?
Yeah, that's correct. You know, people have legacy numbers they want to keep and stuff like that. But, you know, it's not all bad. Not all of it's bad. So we'll talk DC first. So Action is like their flagship title. I would, in my opinion, that's how I look at it. And same with Detective for Batman.
Yeah.
And they're just my lowest selling books, to be honest. No one picks them up off the shelf. I have people on standing order, but off the shelf, people come in, they don't touch them.
Would you say maybe it's because, obviously for long-time comic book readers, they're familiar with Action Comics and Detective Comics and the legacy that those titles bring. But like, do you think for newer readers, they aren't aware that Action Comics is a Superman book? They aren't aware that Detective Comics is a Batman book?
They're aware, because they come in and Batman's Superman's usually on the cover, but they just, I don't know, they haven't been that great of books. Detective comic at the moment it's very genre based. Like they've gone into the horror genre. So if you're not into horror, you know, it's not really for you, I suppose. Action comics they're fixing that, putting on guest writers. I think for story arcs in the next year. You know, like I think just for story arcs, I think Jason Aaron is going to kick that off. And I'm looking forward to that, see what he does on a regular basis. And Detective Ram V is writing that at the moment, and yeah, it's just gone really, I don't know.
Ram V is normally pretty good.
It's gone really dark. But I don't know if he's suited to Batman, but anyway.
Well, shouldn't Batman be a dark title?
Yeah, but it's gone into the horror. It's
okay.
Demons and
stuff. So you know what? That is a problem that I have. So I guess when I first got into comic books, I wanted them to be, I guess, taken seriously in a sense. I didn't really like the silly books, even though when you read some they are quite good. But if it's well written, it's well written, right? But I always wanted comic book stories to be believable in a sense, you know. And then what I learned over the years is there's a lot of storylines where I don't like, and my explanation for it is it gets too comic booky. And someone who does that a lot is Scott Snyder. He does stuff that's so out there, you could never do it in the film world. So you do it in the comic book, and I get that, but sometimes it's too far-fetched.
He writes metaphorically a lot of the time, yeah, absolutely.
I just find sometimes it's way too beyond, like, it's almost like you're trying to think of the most out there thing to do to put it in your story, and I just don't feel like that. Sometimes it just takes me away from
that's fair.
The enjoyment of it, because it's too far-fetched.
Yeah, I mean, and you know, some of the other titles that they've been releasing, I mean, the decision to release books like Power Girl and Fire and Ice, Welcome Back to Smallville, The Outsiders. You know, the decision to do those books instead of, say, Justice League book, or decision to do, instead of a Power Girl book, do a Supergirl book. You know, like Yeah, it's just weird the
Decisions.
The decisions, you know. Even in an Aquaman book, there's a movie coming out where there's no Aquaman book. There's no Aquaman book on the shelf as an ongoing or a miniseries. It's just really weird to me the decision to do one over the other, whereas you know Aquaman is an iconic Justice League member.
What about Marvel on the other side? Like, obviously, there's a lot of Marvel stuff still coming out. It's not getting great reviews, but things like Miss Marvel, things like Loki, are there titles for that at the moment?
No, they did a 4-issue Loki miniseries. What they've been doing is they've been going back to what we loved in the 90s and 80s. So like doing using characters that were around back then, and they've been using Peter David a lot to do that. They did. You know, the new Fantastic Four miniseries, they did the Hulk, the Grey Hulk miniseries, the Mr. Fix-It one. You know, so they're doing a lot of that. And they're doing, Danny Ketch, Ghost Rider. So they're doing a lot of that, I suppose, to generate sales. And look, I'm not opposed to comic book companies releasing comic books, new series, because that's their business. If they don't have new comic books coming out, then they're not. Then they're going to run out of business, run out of ideas for other things. So they go back because they can't come up with anything new. And anything new they come up is not that great, right? There's gems here and there. Yes, it's not all bad. You know, like Spider-Boy, people reacted to him pretty well. You know, Hallows Eve, they reacted to her pretty well. The Red Goblin, that was a good reaction as well.
And you know what? That deserves credit. Like, a lot of new characters get introduced and then they disappear.
Yeah, Cosmic Ghost Rider is another one.
If you can create a character that actually is well received,
and lasts.
That's a great effort. Let's move away from the superheroes for a little bit. What about other titles? For example, I know you dropped a lot of Star Wars. I know you're a big Star Wars guy, and you dropped even some of those titles.
I personally dropped Star Wars from my own collection, and I'm dropping it from the shelf as well.
Ooh, from the shelf too.
Yeah, no one picks it up.
That's how angry he is.
That's what I'm not angry. It's just that we live in Australia, and it's expensive to have stuff on the shelf that doesn't move. I'll get it in for standing orders, of course, but to have it on the shelf now, it's costing me money. Personally, my view on it, I want to read a comic book. Star Wars. I want to read about Luke, Leia. It's the time period. This Star Wars series at the moment, it runs between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. So I want to read about what's happening with Luke, how he goes from being Luke in Empire Strikes Back to Luke being in Return of the Jedi, and they're not giving me that at all. They're stretching it out, you know, with endless junk story arcs. So I'm done. They just started another Captain Marvel series. Miss Marvel now has returned to the Marvel universe.
Wait, didn't she die?
She died. Yeah.
You're telling me she came back? Get out of here!
Yeah, they reconned her.
The fact that people were like, oh, they killed. Like, I just don't understand sometimes. Even the comic book fans and community, I don't understand when you think it's a big deal. It's not a big deal when someone dies.
No.
The one that surprised me the most is probably Alfred. He's been dead for a little while now.
Yeah, they're not Brit.
But when a superhero like Miss Marvel comes out and dies, especially when she's got a movie coming out, you know she's not going to be dead for long.
The thing is, with killing Alfred, I know we're getting off subject, but killing Alfred now what happens is Bruce or Batman hasn't got his moral, he's conscious, you know, speaking to him in his ear. We can see the repercussions now of what's happening. The repercussions have been happening for a couple of years now. Whatever's happening in the Batman stories at the moment, whether it's be detective or Batman, it's because Alfred is...
Yeah, and it's been a big chain reaction, Batman, to Bruce Wayne not being a billionaire anymore. And now Nightwing is super rich because he inherited stuff from Alfred. All that stuff is ongoing, which is really cool. I like the ongoing stuff, and what I don't like is when you do something and then it doesn't make sense, because the idea of everything having continuity is really cool.
For instance, I'll give you an example. You're going to use an example? Were you going to use an example?
Maybe, but I forgot what I was going to say.
Sorry.
There you go.
Superman's identity. You know they took that back, yeah?
Oh, because he revealed it to everyone. Yeah, but
they took that back.
Yeah, but how many times has he done that in history?
Never. That was the first time he's ever done that.
No, that's not true, is it? Is it?
Sure.
I remember when you made that a big deal, I was like, surely they've done that before.
No. So Manchester Black, he mind wiped the whole planet.
You see, that kind of stuff is a little bit out
Comic
there.
booky, like you said,
it's
right?
too comic booky.
Yeah, so it's stuff like that
It
make
can
me
always
like
be
shake my
fixed.
head.
It can always be fixed like that, right?
Yeah, and the thing is, that could, if they were smart, that's what a good writer does, is write around that, use it. And Brian Michael Bendis did use that. He used it to his advantage. He went on the offensive instead of the defensive. That's the difference, in my opinion. But when you have this happening and then you don't address it, you just sweep it under the carpet and fix it, and then don't talk about it again. It's very fickle writing. I think that's what people aren't attracted to. They want to be challenged as not just have a straightforward story, and that's how I would want. But I'm a mature older reader, so it's really unclear sometimes who their target audience is. And when you got titles like Captain Marvel and Miss Marvel, and they recon her into a mutant, I try to push it as much as I can. People come in, try to hit it to little girls or little boys who can relate to that age group of a teen superhero.
Yeah, because if I was a teenager,
Because that's what I would do.
if I was a teenager, I would love that. Which is probably why I enjoyed Spider-Man a lot more when I was younger than I do now.
Yes, but
because I think you had the appeal.
Yes, but the problem with that appeal is you've got legacy. You've got legacy with Spider-Man. You've got legacy with Robin, right? Any of the Robins. It's the word Robin has legacy, but Miss Marvel has not got legacy. Captain Marvel has no legacy. She has no legacy. Carol Danvers as Captain Marvel.
She's been
Miss Marvel, yes. As Miss Marvel, she was forever. That's how she was introduced. That's how Rogue stole the powers off her.
If I was a writer, I'd be a great writer, by the way. If I was a writer and I was doing a story about a character, I would want to keep that legacy intact of what they do. I feel like some writers just have this ego where they're just like, by the way, I'm gonna do this now. And I think that's a real shit attitude to have. I feel like it's kind of disrespecting the character.
Not only disrespecting the character, it's disrespecting the what came before and the legacy of it.
I'm not sure if it was Snyder, but it might have been Snyder that was just like, he knew something was going on, but you know what? I'm gonna do it this way.
But the thing is, if you speak to a lot of writers or directors who are writers, they want to write themselves into the book. They want to write the kind of book that they want to read, but that's not really their job, is it? Their job is to write a book
they should write a book that they want to read, but they still have to keep
for the customers
tradition.
No, their job is to write books for the customers, not for themselves.
Yeah, not for themselves, but it's still got to be like you want to write something that you want to read, right? Because
that's not my job.
No. But like, I think we're looking at it different ways. Like, if you write something, like if you're reading all this stuff and this is crap, you want to write something that you think is good, obviously. But I just don't think it's right for you to change certain aspects.
Oh, I agree with that. Absolutely.
I think it should be this way. But there's some things that can't be that way because they're not that way.
But they do that.
Yeah, I know, yes.
And again, that's another video for another day.
Do you think indie books are going to take over?
It's not the indie books, man. It's the genre books now. They're not. You can't really call them indie. They're genre books from indie companies. Yes. Then there are indie superheroes, which are good. And I've always said this that they're a different kind of storytelling. Indie superheroes. They're not telling the story of saving the world or saving lives.
It's more.
That's part of it. That's in it. It's there.
They make it more about reality and what the problems that a superhero would really encounter.
The weight that's on their shoulders, the repercussions, the responsibilities of having powers and using them in the right way or in the wrong way. What that causes, the cause and effect of that stuff. Now, again, with the indie stuff you were asking, not all of it's good. Not all of it's going to be for everyone. But that's why they're genre books. They write inside a genre. And
a lot of the times, it's good for only so long before it turns into Scott Snyder garbage. Is there an era that you think everything was into?
Yeah, of course. And I've always said this, but the golden era of comic books, or 10 years, 85 or 84 to 85 to 95, 10 years of pure gold. I get a lot of people getting for the older stuff, the older trade, the trades with the older stuff, absolutely. And that's where the gold is. It's that stuff. Because the new stuff is good and it's not so good. It's, yeah, it's not all good, whereas back then it was all good. All of it.
That's all we have for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching. Let us know in the comments, what do you guys think? Are storylines going downhill? Or let us know what are good reads from current titles. I mean, there's definitely some out there. Like as Mark said, they're not all bad, but just there's a lot of crap out there these days, right?
Yeah, it's all agenda driven. But that's, again, another video for another time.
Make sure you guys give this video a thumbs up, leave a comment, subscribe if you're new, and say bye, Mark! Bye-bye, Mark! And keep it simple.
I saw you 2 beers and a comic book.
2 beers? Can't even count this guy. That's how old he's getting. It's 1 beer!
Oh, 1 beer and comic books,
Yeah.
whatever the fuck it's called.
Mate, if I drank 2 beers and 3 comics, mate, I'd be smashed.
Mate, that was, you were right, it was a terrible angle that first episode. Oh man, that was so terrible. I couldn't watch it, All I saw was your junk.
Yeah, and I actually had a hole in my jeans.
Oh my god, I didn't even notice that.
And that's how far back I am in Batman.
Yeah, I'm so behind. I'm like a year behind in my reading. I just
Mate,
picked up.
I haven't even read Doomsday Clock. Alright guys, thank you guys so much for... Thank you guys... That hurt.